Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of my Bucket List Day. Happy 4th of July. By the time you're seeing this, it should be 4th of July weekend. At any rate, I want you all to have a great time, safe, and raise a glass to our forefathers who had the brilliance and the foresight to put together not only our Constitution and Bill of Rights, but do everything they did to fight for our independence from England back in the day. At any rate, this is going to be a great video, part 2 of my visit to MORryde, which with Jack and everybody that I met there. Just fantastic company, fantastic people, and family-owned company, and they are doing some incredible things, making products for all sorts of industries. But most importantly, what you guys are interested in is the RV products, and we're going to dive into that in this episode. And we're going to see a lot of great things, and at the end you're going to see something brand new that's not even in the market today that MORryde is developing, and should be available soon, and you'll learn more about that when we get into it. But first, let's watch this intro and we'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. So as I said, we're going to see all the MORryde products for the RV industry, and a little bit of backstory of how and why each of these products were developed. But first, I have to apologize to all of you, and I've got to apologize especially to Jack Infield over at MORryde. The first part of this recording of the suspension system, for whatever reason, got all corrupted and I couldn't hear him. And it skipped in and out. I'm not sure what happened to my camera at the time, but it got all messed up. So I'm gonna make an attempt to introduce you guys to the full suspension system, at least the first part of the suspension discussion, and hopefully I'll do it justice, but I'll give you education on what the basically the upgrades you can do to your current suspension if you don't already have them factory installed, which many of you do, but this will give you a little insight on that. And again, I apologize, it's not Jack the expert explaining this, it's just me. Hopefully I can do a just job for Jack. So again, my apologies, Jack, but let's let it roll, and then we'll jump right into Jack taking over the rest of the discussion. All right, let's go. Okay, when it comes to upgraded suspension, we go to MORryde with the CRE 3000 and the All-Trek 4000 suspension systems. That's where we start. And MORryde makes a vast improvement in the suspension that comes on your factory rig. The CRE 3000 is what we're going to start with. You get up to 3 inches of suspension travel, and as you can see here, it really allows the factory leaf springs much more movement and travel. It comes with a 2-year warranty, and when you install that, you also get improved or increased shackles, as you see here. These have wet bolts, and the All-Trek 4000 suspension has a larger rubber spring than offered on the 3000. Now what I'm going to demonstrate here, is to show you why this MORryde system is much improved. You have the 2 leaf springs that come from the factory, and they install this basic equalizer. Well, that helps the springs work, but only gives you 1 to 2 inches of travel. When you move to the MORryde system and you see the improved ride, or feel the improved ride, you'll move, depending on which system you put on there, the CRE 3000 or All-Trek 4000, you can have up to 4 inches of travel. Whereas you see back here in the factory system, there's really no travel going on. And as we all have experienced, more travel in your suspension will provide you a smoother ride. In addition, there are no wet bolts where it's connected to the frame here, and no reinforcement. While when you upgrade to the MORryde systems, you not only get the wet bolts in the system, but you also see all the travel that you can get, up to 4 inches on the All-Trek system, which is provided by this unique travel slot that gives you that extra suspension travel. And you see they're also lined with the bronze or brass bushings that are accompanied by the wet bolts and a 1/2 inch thick shackles and cross members. So the All-Trek 4000 comes with a 3-year warranty. Now we're going to let Jack take it over because he's better at this than I.
All right, so the independent suspension system, we showed it to you on the trailers. This is the model. Here's the rubber shear springs that are inside here. This is where you get the rubber spring deflection. You get 5.5 inches of travel, a heavy-duty hydraulic shock absorber, and then here's our hanger. Instead of a 3-inch hanger, you get a much wider hanger. So that's where the strength comes from.
Yeah.
And here on the video, you can see that when one tire hits a bump, the other tire doesn't even know it, and that's due to the independent wheel action. And so this literally is just the best performing suspension system on the market. It's stronger, it's durable, and it's just going to protect that house on wheels from damaging road shock.
I love this setup. When you did this with Chad and Tara, I was like, oh, look at that. That's the way to go.
Yeah, their video was awesome.
Yeah.
So if you think about RVing, there's 2 components to it. There's the journey, which is getting to where you're going, and then there's the enjoying the campground experience. One other part of towing a fifth wheel is a little bit problematic, troublesome, is that connection between the hitch and the pin box. The vast majority of the industry are what we call a rigid one, where you have a steel hitch and a steel pin, and there's no flexibility. What many manufacturers do, and what is used in the aftermarket, is a MORryde rubber pin box.
Right.
It's flexible. What that means is we take the same rubber shear spring technology that works so well on the rear of a trailer, we lay it down flat, and now that rubber spring moves 3 inches back and forth and 1.5 inches side to side. So now that connection is flexible instead of rigid, which allows us to try and control some of that jerking, that chucking, that bucking, that clunking that goes on down the road.
And it works well, Jack. I mean,
yeah.
I've had this now 2 years.
It just tones it down. We can't change the road condition, but you can see some of the movement there.
Yep.
It just moves back and forth, and many manufacturers offer it from the factory. Consumers can retrofit it. It's a simple, easy installation. It just takes a little bit of time.
I saw this little cord keeper thing, and what a brilliant little idea.
It's just a way to keep your 7-way off the ground, and then people, especially in the Southeast and the Midwest, go like, oh, I stuck my cord in the back and I found something there, like a bird's nest. Yeah. And I've had, actually, amazingly enough, I've had 2 people at Seminars and Rallies come up and say, no, it's not a bird's nest, I've had a snake in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So close it off. So with this cord keeper, you can spool it up, and now if you want to put mesh across the back, you never have to touch inside the back of your pin box. So simple, easy way. It's magnetic, so you can go to the bottom, you can go to the side, you can go to the top of it. Just a simple, easy idea.
Yeah, brilliant idea.
So this is about the journey. One more little quick, I showed you that pause product.
Yes.
This is a product, this is an articulating coupler. So now you get into off-road situations where you just, and so
very good.
That's what this is able to do. All right, so if we go over here, what are some other upgrades that people can do to their fifth wheel and travel trailer to just help them to enjoy it? Well, one of the products that was really a strong indication of the power that consumers have is our steps. Back in 2016, if you went inside an RV, you'd walk anywhere from 10 to 12 inches up, and you'd pull on the Linda hand, and it would, people describe steps as springboards and diving boards.
Right.
Well, we had a toy hauler patio that we were selling to a brand back then, and we had steps that kind of went off the rear, and those steps went all the way to the ground. And if you fly a lot, if you do small regional aircraft, their door, when it opens up, becomes the steps.
Correct.
And takes you all the way to the ground. And we thought, well, hey, what if we could do the same thing for fifth wheels and travel trailers? So we came up with Step Above, and what it was is steps that went all the way to the ground. And they were just a simple, easy installation. What it allowed manufacturers to do, well, actually, let's back up. What it allowed consumers to do is get in safer and more securely. Manufacturers, it was like, okay, this could be the newest thing, but it costs more money. So the launch of it was actually a pretty ragged one. We had approached one manufacturer, and they said, yeah, we'll buy up your capacity. And they said, what's your capacity? We said about 600 steps a week. Now, we were doing none at the time. And they said, okay, we'll buy that up. That was in the spring of 2016. When we launched it, they were only buying 200 steps a week. And that was after we leased a building and we bought equipment and hired workers. And they said, you know, it's more expensive. It's like, well, wait, you knew that. Well, dealers don't like it because it swings out. before, dealers were able to line up units right next to each other on the lot. So dealers don't like it, but you knew that, guys. This is better for the consumer.
Right.
And so they just, again, we're not embracing it. And it was when winter comes and you're in the industry, you go, okay, where can I go? Well, Tampa's an amazing RV show. 70,000 people over 5 days. But it was in early February in Minneapolis when I knew that consumers were going to change the industry. So that show has 15 to 20,000 people. So we took a step display. And what this step display was a smaller version of this. And literally all we did at that show is we just jumped up and down the steps. And people said, you can't do that. And we said, okay, well, you do that. So they walked up the steps and they walked down the steps. And we took our brochures, but with steps, you have 3 and 4 steps, you have 26, 28, 30, 32-inch doors. So it's not as if, okay, one part fits everything. So we took 500 qualifiers and handed those out by noon on Saturday. And it was at that moment, at that show, I'm going like, okay, I know consumers are going to change the course of steps for RVs. And that's exactly what happened. They went to dealers and said, hey, I want these steps, I want these steps. They went to manufacturers and said, hey, why can't I have these on a new unit? And so all of a sudden, the market responds to what consumers want. Now, sometimes consumers have to keep beating the drum over and over because it takes time. But in 21, coming out of COVID, the height of the kind of the RV bounce back, in March of that year, MORryde had to produce not 200 steps a week, not 600 steps a week. We had to produce 7,500 steps in 1 week just to meet demand. Earlier this year, we shipped our 1 millionth step since 2017. And that shows the power of consumers. Now, here's the other thing, is the power of consumers is when you give feedback. So when the first steps came out, they were manual steps, and you adjusted the legs with pins.
That's what I have.
So you have holes with pins. And people said, I love your steps, I hate your pins.
Yep.
I love your steps, I hate your pins. Because it's just like the hole never quite lines up.
I think I said that to you in Tampa.
Yeah, it's just a little bit. So we listened to consumers, and we came up with a quick trigger release.
Yeah, that's
so when you
brilliant.
get to the way it, all you do is when you get to the campground, all you do is you pull it down, and now you're level. Time to go, you lift it up, put it in, and the legs are stored, just like that. So simple, easy, that became part of our Gen 2 step. The other thing we did is people said, okay, those steps, can you make it so that I can lift it with a finger? So Stratasys steps. So many manufacturers start doing this. So now it can lift it.
Yep.
An older person can lift it. It'll really sometimes stop right about there. And just a simple, easy Stratasys. The other thing we did was on the manual steps, people out west said, hey, sometimes I get into tight spots. I'd like to be able to remove my step. So we would have pins that you can pull, and on a non-Stratasys, literally take the step out.
Right.
So now we're up to Gen 2 steps. But then consumers, if you're an inventor, we listen to you guys, and we protect your innovation, your ideas. So we had a person come to us and say, hey, my kids, they have trouble getting in and out the door. They have to walk up the steps, they have to grab it.
Reach it.
And then they said, you know what, if you think about it, most RVers do the dance. Well, the dance is you walk up, you grab this, you walk down, you open it, and then you walk back up.
We all do it.
Unless you have this extended latch. And so now you can open the door without walking up the steps. So you got groceries, you got the dog, you got the grandkids. It will work with an RV lock. So, because all we're doing is attaching to the paddle. So this has been a product that's been out for a little over a year, year and a half, and it's going great guns in the aftermarket. It's simple, easy, attaches on the inside here, and
attaches to the handle.
Attaches to the handle. So at rallies, we install these in about 10 or 15 minutes. Consumer, totally DIY. Retail price point is like $79, something like that. So simple, easy way to no longer do the dance.
I love it.
Then we had people say, okay, I have my Linda hand, and I pull myself up.
Right.
That's good, and I'm up, and I get in. But coming down, I got my Linda hand, and I get halfway, and I ran out of Linda hand. So I'm gonna go down like this, because who wants to fall? Or I'm gonna go down backwards like this.
Right.
So we had another person in the industry say, hey, why don't you make it like a house? Well, what's a house have? When you have stairs, you have a stair rail. So now we have the safety rail. So you've got something to hold on to all the way up. But the best thing about the safety rail is literally, I got something to hold on to, and I can jump on it all the way down.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is similar steps, and what do I mean by that? I'm not a prophet by any stretch of the imagination, but we could see what was going to happen with steps. So already manufacturers are going like, oh, I better embrace this. So by next year, you'll see most manufacturers on some models offering this. It's already happening now on select models, and the aftermarket is going crazy because it's a simple, easy way to give you safety, security going in and out of the trailer. Installation is, again, about 30 minutes, and some manufacturers have already started putting it on from the factory. So this is a cool product, and again, it just came from an RVer who had a great idea. And we kind of pay attention to what consumers are talking about, what products they like. And there was a gentleman there, he had been a San Diego police officer and had retired, but was an RVer. And what his wife did not like was at the campground is that feeling of movement when he would walk through the trailer or it was a windy day. And she said, why don't you do something about that? So he started developing a product for travel trailers and fifth wheels to help control that side-to-side movement. So we saw him at this first rally, and consumers were just loving it. Saw him about 3 months later, and went up to him and just introduced ourselves and said, what are you doing? And he said, well, it was Winfield RV Products, and he said, I'm a retired police officer, I RV, I sell some stuff on the internet, I go to rallies, just kind of loving life a little bit. And we said, would you be interested in talking to MORryde? Let us take over, license the manufacturing and the marketing of the product, and then talk about new product development. And he said, yeah, let's do that. And so that started a relationship about 3 years ago. It literally happened right when COVID broke, because I was at a rally, and I was flying back from the rally when it just kind of busted loose and people were being locked down and running the grocery stores.
Right.
So that first year was kind of a little bit wonky, but the product is pretty simple. It's providing lateral support to the trailer. So for travel trailers or fifth wheels that have scissor jacks, the scissor jack moves up and down, but it provides no lateral stability.
Correct.
And so what we're able to do is this X, and you can, on a travel trailer, you can do it on the front, the rear, or both front and rear. And the way you adjust it is you kind of have this, and it fits on here, and all you do, it's a one-time installation. When you get to the campground, you're just tightening it up.
Kind of like a manual awning.
Yeah, when it's time to go, you just loosen it up. So it's a threaded rod inside here, and when you tighten it up, it's providing lateral support. So this is for travel trailer or fifth wheels with scissor jacks. There are fifth wheels that have front electric landing legs.
Right.
Okay, we'll show you a video in just a second. The problem with those is there's so much movement. So here you can see on the left, you can see how much movement is. The X-brace is not connected. And look on the right, and what's happening is there's movement right here. So what we're doing, again, is a one-time installation, and this is a little bit of a turnbuckle design. And so there's a rod and a rod, and you line up the holes, and you install it. Once you get to the campground, all you're doing is you're just going to tighten it up. You're going to tighten it up. And then when it's time to go, you loosen it up. But what it's doing is this unique turnbuckle, we're providing, again, lateral support. So on the front, all of a sudden you push on it, and you just don't get any of the movement. One of the products that came out of working together once MORryde entered an agreement was, okay, what do we do on rear hitches? So if you go to many of the fifth wheels, the rearmost jack is right behind the tire.
That's right.
And then you got 10 feet, giant lever. Go on a motorhome, go on vans that have it. What you have is you got a lever from a few feet up to 10 feet. And if you go to the rear of the unit, you can push on it. So what we said is, what if we go into the hitch and use a tension strap and go side to side? Again, it's a one-time installation. You can store it in the up position, but the tension strap now provides that brace. Here you can see some examples. There's on a travel trailer. You can see the left on the right. So here's on a rear hitch. Look on the back of a motorhome. He's pushing like crazy on the right, and it's not moving. And then here's a Class B. You can see how much it's providing increased lateral stability. And all we're trying to do is just make it more comfortable. So it's a windy day. What I hear over and over is a couple, they're in the RV, and he gets up to go get a drink of water, and she's saying, can you please walk quieter? You know, who's the elephant in the trailer?
Right.
Or the kids are running, or the big dog. Then people came to us and said, okay, well, I got a bike rack back there. or I got cargo area. So on mine, there are these dual receivers.
That's right.
And so now what you can do is you can put your bike rack in the top one and then put this in the bottom one to give you that level of stability. I'm going to show you a new product in the works outside in just a few minutes when we go out there that deals with another level or another type of leveling jack. But all these, again, it's an RVer who just said, hey, here's a problem that consumers don't like, and is there a solution? So what are some other things that are pretty popular? People hate 50 amp power cords.
Yes, sir.
So here's a simple way. This is a manual reel, and now you just put it in and you spool it up. People say, okay, where do I put this? Well, you can put it wherever you do your current power cord, or you can put it back in the truck. Here you can see we put it in a cargo tray. And slide it out. That led to people saying, okay, can I make it motorized? So we have a motorized version of this. And then this, you haven't seen this yet. This is coming. You'll see it on some OEM stuff.
For the
So
water hose.
what about water? And then manual and power for that. One of the products that's gained so much popularity in fifth wheels in recent years, it's been around for years on motorhomes, is sliding cargo trays.
Yes.
Because people, if full-timers, they get rid of everything and they only have what's important, and then they load up their fifth wheel, and in the middle of the pass-through they put stuff, and they get to the campground and realize, I don't need that, because there's no way I'm taking everything out to get what's in the middle, to take it out, to reload everything.
It's a pain.
So sliding cargo trays can go out both sides, and now you can access that stuff. And so this has been a category that's just grown significantly in popularity, because it can be, we've done it at rallies on small travel trailers in the front pass-through, and people say, okay, now I can put stuff. Big fifth wheels with pass-through, motorhomes, many motorhome owners will have multiple bays, and they'll put multiple trays in because it's so easy to access their stuff. So the next thing that's coming is we have utility trays, we have generator trays, we have griddle sliding trays. So again, we're just responding to what consumers want.
Okay, guys, we are getting a behind-the-scenes look at a lot of these products that MORryde makes. It's been exciting so far to see all of this, but now we're about to see something that's not available to the market yet, but you're going to get a sneak peek of it. Okay.
So as we've been going to shows and rallies and showing the stabilizer to people, we have people with the 6-point leveling say, well, hey, you have a product for me. And the reality is, so the answer today is no, but we've been working on it. So what is the problem? So the problem is you have 6-point leveling. I'm going to push on this unit. And if you look, you can just see how much it's moving down.
Yes, you can see it move.
Okay. So we're going to take the same turnbuckle design, and all I'm going to do is just tighten it up. And now I'm going to push on it.
Look how stable that is.
So much more stable.
So, and when you're shaking it, you see the bar move, but the rig does not.
The rig is not, because we're just absorbing it in it.
Yeah.
What some people try to do is they say, okay, I'll put a tripod up here. And that's better than nothing, but the problem is you're trying to control the movement at the leg 5 feet away.
Right.
And that's not going to work as well. Control the problem where it is. So here is where we have the problem. So on the rear of the unit, we said, okay, what can we do with that? Well, if we have a rear hitch, that's great. Well, many of the toy haulers don't have rear hitches.
Correct.
So on this unit, we are 3, 6, 9 feet of overhang. Let me see if this is decent. So we said, let's take the travel trailer design and do the same thing. So here I am, I'm at the rear of the trailer. See how much
Yep, and you can see the movement.
Yep, so I'm going to take the travel trailer design.
Oh yeah. Let's see it flexing now.
Yep, so that's tight. Tighten a little more on the other side. And then I go to the rear of the trailer.
Look how much more stable that is. Okay, Jack, I'm loving this.
So these are in development. So anyhow, this is new, coming soon. And soon means between now and Tampa.
Okay, so next 6 months.
Yeah, because
I don't know about you guys, but to me, with big fifth wheelers, this is a must-have product. Now this is something, Jack, that once you mount it on the pad and on the strut,
One-time installation.
it's on there forever.
So that's
Okay.
the tour. Again, we're just a family-owned company. People ask, when I use seminars, I say, okay, why should you care about what we do? Our products are designed to help you enjoy the RV more so you can enjoy the lifestyle more. And then why should you purchase from MORryde when there's all kinds of other options, some of them much, much bigger? And the reason is we're just like you. What do we want? We want our products to work. We want them to last way longer than any type of warranty period. If we do something wrong, the warranty doesn't matter. It's how do we stand behind it? And then in my personal life, I don't want somebody to sell me something. I want them to help me buy something. And what does that mean? That means I need to trust that person. I need to know what they're talking about. And so if we want that in our personal lives, that's what we have to do in our business life.
Yeah.
We need to do products that work the way they're supposed to. They need to last. And then when there's a problem, anything that's man-made, there will be, treat me fairly. Stand behind the product and let's work out an equitable solution. And that's what we are, is we're just like you. We want good stuff that lasts, and then we want to be treated fairly and we want to be heard. And that's why someone should consider MORryde, because we're just like you, and our products are going to help you enjoy the lifestyle more than you do right now.
Yes. Thank you very much, Jack.
You're welcome.
Okay, so there you have it. Incredible tour, wasn't it? So I can't thank Jack enough for taking me around, showing me a few things, and as I said, I was very impressed. Had no idea they had basically produced products or manufacturing for so many different industries. I thought they were just for RV and boats. Who'd have thunk it? So I appreciate you guys checking in, watching this video, and don't forget to hit that little like, subscribe, ring that little bell, let you know when I'm putting out another videos. Thanks for tuning in. Make it a great bucket list day.